Let me give you a hand, my children! A skeleton hand! Time for us to once again visit this short-lived anthology, and hopefully it won't give us a bony middle finger with some racism or something. We begin with the rise and fall of the Bogeyman. However, this is not quite the monstrous figure of legend, despite what the narration might have you believe. 3 kids, the lead one named Billy, unearth an ancient container that holds the Bogeyman inside. He is more akin to a genie in his legend, though he tells the children his story, that he sought to destroy evil thousands of years ago, nearly succeeding until some evil men weakened him with ambergris and sealed him up. Only good people can see him, hence why the children are able to. He wants to resume his crusade against evil, and the kids name some corrupt politicians and local gamblers, figuring that the Bogeyman will lightly punish them or send them to prison. But instead he kills them. Billy eventually convinces a reporter, Carl, and his teacher Nancy of the monster's existence. They tell Billy that the Bogeyman just doesn't understand. Times have changed, and what was considered evil is now perfectly legal nowadays. Though that argument is not helped by the reporter being unable to see the Bogeyman, but the teacher can. Still, Carl tries to use some ambergris on him, but it doesn't work, the ambergris hardening in the colder weather. Fortunately for him though, Nancy was wearing some perfume with it on, allowing them to weaken the Bogeyman and contain him again. The story keeps implying how evil and dangerous the Bogeyman is. Honestly, seems like a bit of a do-gooder to me. Ah well, at least he killed some people! Next we have Spectres of the Dam. Paul Keller is in charge of a project for building a new dam. Unfortunately, construction of the dam will redirect the water flow and flood the whole town of Centerville, to their anger. There's nothing to be done though, and the workers begin to move Centerville higher up on a hill, even making sure to move a cemetery full of coffins and headstones. But it seems these actions stir those who have been resting in peace, for they rise up to voice their objection to this by murdering the workers. Paul believes the townspeople are responsible, dressing up like corpses to try to stop them. He even accuses this to Jane, the local school teacher, who swears to stop the undead attack due to her feelings for Paul. When the dead rise once more to kill the next construction crew, she discovers that it is her own grandfather's zombie that leads them. She pleads with them to give her one day to change their minds about the dam. She goes to Paul, who believes her now, but it doesn't matter, for he has been replaced in his lead position. The new head of the dam is a man named Rad Carter, the former mayor of Centerville, who was forced out because of his corrupt politics. He has sworn revenge on the town, and this is his way of getting it. They fail to convince him to abandon the project, but on the way out, Paul discovers that the dam itself is based on false information Rad collected. He deliberately made the dam this way to get his revenge, but it can be built elsewhere without flooding the town. While Paul gets permission from the governor to head the project again, Rad is attacked by the zombies. He takes Jane as a hostage to ward them off, but instead is flung to his death, Paul convincing the undead to return to their graves, as the town will no longer be disturbed. Just remember, my children, the dead are not as kind as the living when it comes to their places of rest being taken from them. Third up is the Were-fiends of Finland. Dr. Krosecz meets with his new assistant, Mark, and tells him how it's important to be a skeptic of science, since we learn new things all the time that upend our understanding of it. And thus he shows proof of that. A werewolf, a former neighbor of his, is kept locked up in an old tower by the good doctor. He's been working on a serum to cure the transformation, testing it on the man, and it does technically work. He reverts back to a human form, but then he dies. Hey, 1 out of 2 goals accomplished ain't bad. Krosecz takes Mark to meet his daughter, and the two hit it off. But it seems the local werewolves are not too keen on any kind of cure for themselves, deciding to kill Krosecz before he can proceed with his experiments. They attack him as he takes a hike at night, Mark just barely managing to save him. Unfortunately, the werewolves instead take Krosecz's daughter hostage, and they must rescue her. Krosecz has an injured arm, so Mark goes off alone, managing to not only rescue her, but blow up all the werewolves in the cave. Because I guess all the decomposing bodies of their victims made the place full of flammable gas, according to Mark. I don't know if that's how that works. The story also just ends there, which is weird then that we don't have Krosecz become a werewolf. Or maybe it works differently with Were-fiends, as they keep calling them.
Well, finally we have the Hidden Terror. In a small New England village, a young couple tries to find a house to rent. The only place available is a large old house said to be haunted, built 300 years ago by an evil wizard who was burned during witch trials. The realtor agrees to let the couple live in the house rent-free for a year if they stay there overnight to prove it isn't haunted, and they agree. They're soon beset by strange occurrences that seem like ghosts but can be explained away. And we soon learn that the spirit of the evil wizard is trying to keep them in the house, the ghosts of his previous victims attempting to warn the couple of its dangers. The wizard attacks, needing to claim a victim in its walls every 100 years so he can go on in his evil form. He traps the man in an invisible coffin and drives the woman into an underground tomb, thinking he has killed her by locking her away. But in his belief in victory, the man escapes the spirit coffin and locates his wife, freeing her and opening up the tombs of the other previous victims. They pull the wizard's ghost into one of the tombs, locking him away as day breaks so that his curse is broken, leaving behind only a skeleton, as well as the couple who are now happy to be in the haunted house.
An improvement on previous tales of the skeleton hand, my children, but most importantly of all, it lives up to its title by having a proper skeleton in it!